Sir, your mic is muted, sir.
I'm very sorry for that. Okay, so then I have to repeat this. Okay, so let me start from here itself. Okay, so now if at all you see this here, I'm trying to make my cutoff frequency 4000 hertz to 4100 hertz. That means I'm giving a transition width of only 100 hertz. For a transition width of only 100 hertz, you find that the order of the filter is 948. Okay, now if you change, see, it's basically no, it is a very large number now. You are to supposed to perform so many number of no multiplications for this filter. So this is the order of the filter now. Okay, suppose if I change this transition width from 4100 to, assume that I make it a 6000 hertz. Okay, let us see what happens in that case. So the response is this, but the transition width from it has been increased from 4000 to 6000. So it is having a very large transition width. The order of the filter is now just 47. Okay, and these are the 47 filter coefficients that you are able to generate. Now, if you try to make this order instead of 4000 and I make it as 4500 hertz, okay, the transition width is now reduced. Let us see what happens. Now you need 190 filter coefficient. The order of filter is 190, and these are the various filter coefficients. Now you try to understand here. If at all you are designing a filter and if it is a low pass filter and you are trying to have a very sharp transition width or you are having a very sharp cutoff, the number of filter coefficients are going to change. Okay, and if you see the response, this is the response what you try to get. Okay, but if you change from 4100 to 4100, okay, if you make this will further be very sharp. Okay, so this is almost an ideal filter. Okay, so are you able to follow this? So this is how we design a filter. Okay, now we are taking a low pass. Let us see how to design a high pass filter. Again, we use FIR filter, finite impulse response filter, and high pass filter. And again, now here you have to see what is f stop and f pass. Okay, f stop will be less than f pass, so we are making it as 12,000. So instead of that, I will make it as, okay, 5,000, and this I will make it as 6,000. Okay, 6,000. Then you click on design filter. This is your response of a high pass filter. That means all the frequencies still, yeah, your f pass 5,000 will be attenuated. All the frequencies above 5,000 will be simply passed, but frequencies above 6,000 hertz will be passed without any attenuation, but the frequencies less than 5,000 will not be passed, or if it is passed, it will also have some attenuation of minus 80 dB. This is the response of a high pass filter. Now I want to design a band pass filter. Yes, you can even set a band pass filter. So you should now appropriately set what will be your f pass, f stop one, okay, f pass one, f pass two, f stop two. So again, click on design filter. This is what is the response of a band pass filter, and you can see the filter coefficients are 50. Okay, and these are all the various filter coefficients that you come across. Now I want to design a band stop filter. Yes, that is also possible. You can design a band stop filter also. Okay. Again, for the band stop filter, you have to now specify very clearly what are the filters, and then you can click on the response. This is still band pass, band stop. This is your band stop filter. So all these frequencies from 0 to maybe around 9.6 is passed. All the frequencies above 12 is basically passed, but the frequencies between 9.6 hertz or 9.6 kilohertz to 12 kilohertz are basically stopped because they're having large amount of attenuation. So this is what is the response of a band pass filter. Okay, now we will go back to our basics, that is low pass filter. So let us take a low pass filter and then let us not go for a very sharp cutoff. I will set the cutoff as 5,000 hertz. Okay, or I will make it as 4,500 hertz. Attenuation is around 60 dB, and I click on design filter, and these are the filter that I am going to take, and then these are the filter coefficients. Okay, yes. Now what is the next step now? The next step is we should see whether this can really work as a filter now. So to make sure that it is working as a filter, you have to see how to simulate this filter and identify its properties. So for that, what we will do, see, you have to now do some small activity here. Okay. So now see here, I'm just clicking on this parameter here, set quantization parameter. So you have to click on this. Then change this from double precision to fixed point. Then you'll be able to get another window here. So we have to do some small settings over there. So I'm just changing it to 10. Okay, this is just I'm trying to tell you how to do this. Click on that. Okay, then go back to the menu here. There is a concept called realize model. So I'll click on realize model. Okay, so then it will ask okay and click on realize model. So once you are comfortable with using FDA tool for the filter design that you are supposed to do according to whatever requirements you have, then you click on okay quantization. After quantization, you click on realize model, and when you click on realize model, it will automatically generate the filter that we are intended to work with. Okay, so you will be able to get the entire filter design that we designed now, and let us see how to simulate that filter. Okay. Yes. So since my laptop is having 2 GB RAM, so that's where it takes time. Suppose if I have 4 GB RAM, it will be very fast. Okay. So it will take some time to realize that filter. We will see how to get that model. Then let us see whether that will really work as a filter that we are intended to design. Maybe we have to wait for some more time. So that will now open up another toolbox in MATLAB, and that is what is Simulink is. So since it is trying to realize that model, and it is trying to open that another toolbox called Simulink, and that is where we can now see how to simulate this FR filter and see whether it is really working as an FR filter. Yeah. So this is the model that gets generated from our toolbox. So this is the filter that we actually specified in the FDA tool, and it has been designed. Now to really know what is inside this filter design toolbox, let me double click on it. So when you double click on it, it will again open up the black box. Inside that, you now find these are all the various filter coefficients. So this is the coefficient like B1, B2, B3, and so on. They are all the various filter coefficients. Okay, and now these filter coefficients are all there. We know that there are almost 98, 97 order filter. So sorry, 191. Okay, so there are 191 filter coefficients. So your input will pass through all this, and start, like I mentioned in my previous example, 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 3 was the filter coefficients. But now in this case, there are 191 filter coefficients. So your input will be multiplied by 190. Now this B1, B2, B3, B4, and so on. And after multiplying, then it will start getting added. Then it will come at the output, and that will be a filtered output. Okay. So I'll go back to my black box here. Now I want to see whether this really works as a filter. So to check whether this works as a filter, so what I'm supposed to now do is, and I'm trying to see how to apply input and check the output. So to identify the input and output, so I need to invoke the Simulink library. So let us see how to invoke the Simulink library. So you have to open up the Simulink library. Yeah. So I'm opening up this Simulink browser library, and trying to see how to simulate this. So in Simulink, once I clicked on that, this library got opened. So now here, since I'm supposed to now apply input and output, so what I'll do is I'll go to this DSP system block. Okay, I'm clicking on DSP system toolbox. In that DSP system toolbox, I'm clicking on sources. When click on sources, you find that there are multiple sources that you are able to get here. Since I want to simulate it and I want to apply a sine wave, I'll select this, right click on this and click on add block to model untitled. So now this will get added to my block. So I'm getting this back. Okay. Then further, I also want to see the output of my filter in an oscilloscope. So I'll go to sources or sinks, and in the sink I will click on okay uh, time scope. Okay, I click on this time scope, select it, right click on it, click on add block to the model. So it will also get added. Yes, you get this. Then now apart from this, okay, now I am having an input source and an output source. Then I want to even check what will be the frequency spectrum of my signal. So for that there is a frequency spectrum here. Select it, and that is there in the sync module. Select it, right click on it, and add to untitled. So I'm able to get it here. Okay, then I need one at the output and one at the input also. So I'll take one more time spectrum, add to content, and click it here. Similarly, I'll take one more time scope, add to the model, I'll get it. So now I've required number of sources and sinks. I've taken it. Now what I should do is I should connect all of them. So I'll try to connect all of them together and see whether this will work as a system. So I'm just to connect the input source to the filter. See, I try to move my mouse button. When I try to move my mouse button and I take to the edge of this, that is where there is a small arrow there. If I click here, it becomes plus. Once it becomes plus, click on it, select that. Similarly, you go here, okay, click, drag, and connect. So you're able to connect it. So your input is connected to that is the sine wave is connected to this input, and it is now passing through a filter that we designed, which is having a transient width of 4000 to 4500 hertz, and output of the filter is given to time square. Now in I want to see what is input also. So what I do, I take my mouse here and then select this, take it back, drop it here. So I'll take this, and I want to even see the spectrum also. Okay, again take this. Yeah. So I've done all the connections now. So now what I have is I have an input time scope, spectrum analyzer, spectrum analyzer. So now I'll do one thing. I'll rename it. So this I'll rename it as input. Okay. Then I'll this is output, and then here spectrum analyzer of output and spectrum analyzer of input. Okay, I'm just renaming it. Then I will click on this run button and see whether this works as the required filter. So again, it will take some time and to show you that it is still compiling. So it is still showing at the bottom that it is initializing and so on. Then it will give you the response. So we have the output, input, then the time output, then the input. Okay. So now if you see here, this is the input. Now I'll go to tools and automatically scale. I can even zoom this. Just trying to zoom this. This is your sine wave. Okay, we have having a sine wave, and this sine wave is what we are trying to simulate. Okay, then this is the output what we get. Now this output you can again zoom this. This output what you are able to get. If you see, initially there may be no some random noise generated because now the filter is having 191 multiplications to be performed. Because there are 191 multiplications to be performed, okay, initially all of them will be junk. After 191 samples enter inside the filter, then only you start producing the output. So you find that whatever outputs you are able to get initially should be neglected because they are all random data. But after some time, you see that it is filtering and it is giving the output. Okay. If you try to compare this output with your input, there is almost they match. Now let us see how to change the input frequency and then further change the parameters. And now this is the spectrum what you find. Now if you see the spectrum, this is the frequency versus amplitude. You find that the frequency spectrum there is a peak at 100, then there is a negative peak also at minus 100, then there is also peak at 300, but the frequency spectrum of this is 150 dBm, but this is at 0 dB. That means this is very low strength, this is very high strength. Okay, so we can almost neglect this data because in input there is only one frequency at 100 kilohertz or 100 hertz. Now to change the frequency components, I can click on this, double click on this. Okay, and then now the frequency is 100 hertz, so I will change it to 2000 hertz. Okay, we're changing 2000 hertz and then apply. So by changing it to 2000 hertz, okay, then we can further simulate it, see whether it works for 2000 hertz. Close this. This should be so the sampling frequency was set as 48,000. So it will not work because now it was 1000 hertz and it should be at least four times of that. So I will make it as 10,000. Okay. Since the sample frequency is very high, so it will to simulate for more amount of time and then it will finally generate the output. So now we know that the cutoff frequency is at 4000 to 4500 hertz. So any frequencies from 0 to 4000 hertz will be simply passed without any attenuation. Frequencies above 4500 hertz will be stopped. Okay? And that is the response of the filter that we have designed. Let us check whether it really works like that. So it is trying to simulate it and it's trying to give results. It will go until time t equal to 10 because that is the parameter that we have set. Yeah. So now if you see the input, spectrum, the input spectrum tells that the frequency is at 2 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz. Okay, because that's where you get a spike. Then no, the output spectrum also tells that yes, it is at exactly 2 kilohertz. Okay, but at 4 kilohertz also there is some spike available. That means even this is allowing a frequency at 4 kilohertz also is passed. Okay, that is also made available at the output. But if you compare the amplitude of this and amplitude of this they are almost negligible. So you can simply neglect this, but you can even see how to rectify this also. Then you can even see the time domain response of the filter. So this is the time domain response of the filter. So I can take this and then zoom it. As I said, initially you have to neglect the data because random data. But after that, whatever data you get, this is the output data. You are going to zoom it and show the results. Okay. Similarly, you can see the input also. So you can zoom this, check the input. This is the input now that we have. Okay. And this is a 2000 hertz data. Okay, this is the 2000 hertz data, and accordingly it is basically been filtered. Now let us check whether your input, if it is made as 6000 hertz, okay, will it work? So if I'll change this to 6000 hertz, but if I make this as 6000 hertz, I should make this as at least minimum price. So I'll change this to for maybe to make 24,000. Okay, then only it will work. Again, we are trying to see whether the filter, it should not allow frequencies above 4000. All of them should be stopped. Let us see whether it is working as FIR filter according to the requirements what we designed for. Okay. So let us because it will go up to t equal to 10 here. So we are able to see that on one side we are having the input, okay, it is 6000 hertz. On the left hand side, this is the output that is generated from the filter. Now let us see once it completes the process. It will run until t equal to 10 because in the Simulink window we have set t equal to 10. Okay, I can change this. I can take it as 2, 3 also. But until then it will start running. Yeah. Now let us first check the spectrum. Okay. This is the spectrum of your input. Then this is spectrum of output. Now you see that this is the output. Sorry. This is the spectrum of output. Now you find that there is a small, any difference you find here between the spectrums. Sorry, input, output. Now this input spectrum, if you try to take input spectrum here, at 6 kilohertz, it has a peak, indicating that the input signal is 6 kilohertz. Again, if you see, at 6 kilohertz, it is having a peak, and that peak value is above 0 dB, or it is approximately 0 dB. 0 dB means it is almost your gain is good. Okay. Now let us see what will be the spectrum of output. This is spectrum of output. But if you see here again, there's a peak at this point 6 kilohertz. Okay, even that I think it is yeah, maybe it is less than 0 dB. Okay, it is not completely attenuated. It is less than 0 dB. Some amount of attenuation is there. So if you try to compare this, the input spectrum, the frequency at exactly 6 kilohertz, the amplitude of that is almost 0 dB, and here also it is 0 dB. But it's positive frequency, negative frequency 0 dB. But if you take the spectrum of output, it is not 0 dB, less than 0 dB. That means small amount of attenuation has been introduced by the signal. Okay. Now, if you check the time domain response, okay, that is your output across the oscilloscope. This is your input, which will be a sine wave. Let us check what happens to the output now. So this is output what we have. Now, if you see the x-axis, on the x-axis, the amplitude is 10 power minus 4 here. So let me zoom it and show you. This is the amplitude what we get. Okay. And this is the output what we have, but the amplitude is 10 power minus 4. 10 power minus 4 is, it is very, very small value. Okay. But if you see the input accordingly, there is no scaling factor of 10 power 4, no, minus 4. That means it is amplitude is equal to 1 volt. Peak to peak is 1 volt. But if you check the output of your no filtered output, the amplitude is now 10 power minus 4, means the input, whatever you applied, which is having a value of 1 volt plus or minus 1 volt, has been completely attenuated and it is multiplied with a factor of 10 power minus 4. That means it is not coming out. But still it is available as a sine wave, but the amplitude is very, very low. That is what how you test the filter. Okay. So what we can also do is we can further test for one more set of data. Instead of sine wave 6 kilohertz, okay, sorry, let us go back to the spectrum now, FDA tool. See, in the FDA tool, the response of the filter was like this. That is what is the response of the filter, so that we understand the performance of the FR filter that we designed, or low pass filter that we designed. Okay, so it should not get hang here. Yeah. See, this is the response of the filter now. Okay. So all the frequencies from 0 to, okay, your input here 4 kilohertz are basically passed, but the frequencies above 4 for 4500 hertz are stopped. But if you see this part here, so let me zoom this. So this is what is the response of the filter. See, this is 5 kilohertz. Somewhere at 6 kilohertz, you see, okay, okay, maybe not, it could be somewhere here. There is a significant amplitude available. Okay, that is where you are able to see that it is able to pass. Okay, but the free amplitude the attenuation is almost minus 50 dB. Suppose if I apply input signal of around, this is somewhere here, no, maybe 7 or 8 kilohertz, then the amplitude of that will be almost zero. Okay, so this is basically because the response of filter is like that. So wherever there is a peaking occurring, those frequencies will be passed. But again, we'll be having an attenuation of almost minus 50 dB. Okay, that is the frequency response of this filter. Okay, yes. So now with this basic understanding, we know how to design a simple FR filter. Okay, yes, simple FR and low pass filter. Okay, yes. So now let us come back to the class. So have you understood the concept here? Any doubt you have, please let me know. Hello? Hello? Anybody has any doubt? Have you followed this filter design using FDA tool? Hello. Okay. So, see, there was some small network problem at my side. But now, did you understand the FDA tool? Okay. Did you understand the flow there? What is it? FDA tool is all about? Any queries you have? Can you try this at home and then practice? Because now we'll be doing some examples using this for our hello. So we have to build some complex examples using this. So we will start doing it from next week onwards. So can you try this today? If at all you have not understood, I will share this video recording whatever is done today. Okay, you can even go to that. But I want all of you to please learn this FDA tool part. Is it clear to you? Okay. So any doubt, you let me know. Otherwise, we'll go to next activity. A small session I would like to introduce. Yeah. So I'm getting no response that you're able to you can do it. Good. Okay. So now I'll go back to this MATLAB. Okay. And then in MATLAB, I would like to introduce you to some important MATLAB functions that are available. Okay. So what I will do is I'll further share my screen. Okay. I think my screen is visible to all of you. Okay. Somebody can just send me a message. Is it visible on? Okay. So two important things I would like to specify here before we could stop this session. Okay. So the first important thing now that is in MATLAB. Yeah. So we will introduce a concept called SU. I'm just typing in the help file SURF features.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello.
Visible.
Helipa.
Screen is not visible, sir.
Screen is not visible. Okay. I'm trying to present it once again. Now we check whether the screen is visible. Is the screen visible now? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Visible, okay. Is visible, right? Yeah. Let us now I'm just introducing a simple concept called surf features. See, I'm typing in the command help file surf features. Okay. Let us see what happens to the surf features. What is the function available in MATLAB? I want you to also go to this small help file available in MATLAB. Make yourself comfortable with this. We will see what is the mathematics behind this, and also develop some complex examples using this surf features. Okay. So these are all some of the important mathematical functions available in MATLAB, using which what we can do. Suppose you have an object and you want to identify what are the various objects in a given image, and these objects could be of regular or irregular shape. So all those objects could be extracted using a function called surf function. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to just describe now. Okay, yeah. So if you go through this surf features, it will open up a lot of multiple examples there. So one of the examples that we will try to take up is your yeah. See, because there's a lot of things going on, my computer is not able to support. That's why it's trying to get hang. Otherwise, you please note down this the important features. Okay, one is surf features, SURF features. The other one is MSER features. Okay, please note down, and then you have a lot of time to browse through MATLAB and then try to understand. Okay, what are these features? One is SURF, the other one is MSER features. Okay, so there is an example here. You can even open that example. So I will not run that example, but I want you to explore the possibilities. So they have given an example where they are trying to take multiple images here, and then using these multiple images, they are trying to identify one of the image. In that one of the images, there are multiple feature points available in this image. So these feature points, whatever is available here, are identified by a function called detect surf features. Okay, so they are using these detect surf features to identify various feature points available in this image. Okay, then once they identify the feature points, then they use those feature points to identify the object in a given image. Okay, so they're trying to use this entire image. In that image, there is an object here. In that object, there are features. So using the features, they are trying to identify what are the objects available in a given image. So that is where the function surf features will help us. So now they again further improvise the number of features by just changing the parameters over there. And then they try to do all the other analysis and identify where and all this object is present in a given image. Okay, and only those objects are basically getting highlighted here. So this is one of the important example that I wanted you to go through before we could discuss the mathematical concepts behind this in the next class. Okay. Similar as I said, there is another feature called MSER feature. Okay, so I want you to even know what is it MSER features. Okay, so you can go through these two important features called surf and MSER features, and then try to execute the examples available in MATLAB, and then we will meet next class, and then we'll see how to complete the advanced examples in MATLAB. Okay, now what I'll be doing today is I will be posting a new assignment, and that new assignment would be with regarding to maybe once your assignment is given to you, you'll understand what is that assignment is all about. I want you to do some simple tasks without knowing the mathematical concepts. Keep doing all the simple tasks, and I want you to generate some output and update the report and keep it available by next Monday. Okay, so what we will do, I'll explain what is that project is all about on next Monday. Okay, so shall we stop here? I think we will stop here for today. So today what we did was we did two important things. I told you how to use FDA tool to design filter. That was the first thing. Second thing is I just told you how to simulate a simple I want you to know what is this surf and MSER features.